I joined the band. I worked at night in my office on the other side of the wall because I heard them every rehearsal from the year they started. But I just didn't feel I had time to play until the late 90s, and then I started playing. The director at that time asked me if I would like to conduct a concert. Well, sure I would. And that led me into being the assistant director. And then when he retired because of health problems, in 2005, I became the regular music director. And I've been doing it since then. So there are people in this band right now, probably as many as 8 or 10, that were in they're charter members. They were in the group back in the...
I was talking to Terry. She said
Terry?
You were, yeah, she said you were her teacher in high school.
I was her teacher.
She used to play violin and now then clarinet.
That's right. That's right. There's several others that were my students in school too. And that makes it special to have them back now. Mm-hmm. In fact, the fellow with the dark blue coat there, mm-hmm. he grew up in Kansas City, and that's where I had my first job. And I started him on clarinet, I think probably in 1960. He was in a large elementary school on Warnell Road in Kansas City, and he tells me, he's told this story many times, that he wanted to play saxophone, but I wouldn't let him. But he turned out to be a great clarinet player. He's a medical physicist. About, probably a quarter of the people in this band, almost a quarter of them have doctorates in something, not necessarily music.
Right.
There are some that have doctorates in music. Some were retired college music professors. A lot of public school band directors and elementary teachers, music teachers in the group. So it's a marvelous group to work with.
How do you how do you act? Do you act the same, differently from when you were teaching high school versus conducting adults? Because I remember, when I was in middle school band, we were a handful to keep track of. How do you see conducting, when you were in high school versus all these adults?
Well, I guess the big difference is that these people are all volunteers. They're not scheduled to come in here once a week, and they love to rehearse, and they get paid nothing. And if I get on them a little bit, they take it. They know they want me to because they'll play better. And I love working with them. I'm not looking forward to the day when I, for whatever reason, will not be doing it anymore. But they're all individually different. They're prideful, and I never want to damage that. Some of them have probably, they think they're a little better players than they are, but that's fine with me. That's part of the pride. And they never seem to take offense if I have to point out a shortcoming someplace that they've missed. They want to fix it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's basically a pretty good relationship.
Sure. And then what are your goals for the community band? Is there any areas where you want to see grow, or maybe more concerts or different types of people? Do you have any goals for the future?
Good question. Well, we actually, our total number of performances that we have during the year, we probably perform 12 to 15 times a year. That's a pretty full schedule. Mm-hmm. We have like 3 formal concerts during the school year, and then we have outdoor concerts in the warm weather season. We have service performances like the Heritage Festival, which is one that occurs in September in the Nightfall Park. Mm-hmm. It's a big crafts thing, and thousands of people go there over a 2-day period. And we play for some MU commencements too, and that helps our budget a little bit. We do get a little honorarium for doing that. So it isn't a matter of more performances. It's obviously always trying to refine them musically, but also probably my number one target, my goal would be to have the band reach more people. The thing about Columbia is it's a unique community. A lot of college towns would be like this. There are so many music organizations presenting concerts all the time. You know that.
Yeah,
You see the picture.
there are a lot of
Yeah,
concerts.
Missouri Theater and Jesse Auditorium, and in the churches, there are concert series that the big churches sponsor. And they're very fine programs with outstanding performers that come in. So it's hard to carve out a niche of your own loyal following, because they're the kind of people that want to go to all the other concerts too. So building our audience base is really probably number one objective, and always will be.
And then last question is, do you think that, like, what do you think music has, I mean, obviously you spend a lot of time with your life either teaching band for, you said 35 years, stuff like that. But how do you think music has affected your life when you're not in the band room or when you're not conducting? Do you think that it's had like a profound impact on?
Without a doubt. If you ask my wife, she would probably tell you frankly that I think about it all the time. I'm always planning something. I'm listening to a recording of a piece of music that I want to get for the band, or a different interpretation and how I lead them through a certain piece. I love that part of it tremendously, and obviously over the years, I actually had, counting all the different teaching I've done, about 50 years in teaching, and put together extensive recordings to help me in my career. And that takes a lot of time, just to listen and to formulate your ideas about what you're going to do in the next 6 months and concerts and things like that. I love it. Outlets for musicians. Some musicians can find outlets. I used to have a couple of them. I love tennis and golf a lot, and I found people of similar bent, music people and conductors. One in particular, we found out the only time we could play was 6 o'clock in the morning, and we would play not in cold weather, but most of the time 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we'd go home, take a shower, and go to work. And when you play tennis, it takes two. You can't. Golf, you can go out and hit the ball, but you need the tennis partner. And my partner, who was actually the head director at MU for a number of years, he died of cancer, and I gave that up. And now, as different parts of the body are not working as well, I don't know that tennis would be a good thing for me. But I enjoy every day because of music.
Right.
I really do.
That's all I need from you. That was, you're right. That was really good. I appreciate you having me out.
It was fun
I'll
talking
probably
to
be
you.
here next week
I
as
hope so.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.